there, thanks again for tuning into Sin's Workshop podcast. Hope everyone's having a great day. So today we're going to be talking about Unravel the Dusk by Elizabeth Lim. This is the second novel in her Blood of the Stars duology. First novel was Spin the Dawn, which I did love, by the way. You can go ahead and check out my review of that on sinsworkshop.com. But what I really loved about this novel was really the interesting character development. She really does grow in this novel more than she did in the first novel. And that's not to say she didn't grow in the first novel. I think her development is different here, In the first novel, she was really uncovering her inner strength. But now she really is becoming a more formidable character because she did make a pact with a demon, so she is slowly turning into a demon. And this really does raise a lot of the tension in the story. So, Mai is really going on a new journey of self-discovery in this novel, and it really does add a lot to her development as a character. That is what was very intriguing about the story ultimately, but it wasn't just her characterization that was amazing, but we'll talk about that more in a second. I think Mai was just able to really come into herself in this novel, more so than in the previous novel. Because in the previous novel, the reader is going on a journey. She is traveling the land so that she can make these mystical dresses. The dresses have been made, and now she's not really going on a journey anymore. She is fighting this darkness that's rising inside of her, and I really did think that was quite compelling as far as her characterization go, because she has the strength. She's already figured out that she has the strength to make herself be able to fight this darkness, but she still has to contend with it. She still has to fight with it on every level and find the magic within herself to really battle her anger, her need for revenge, her resentment. She has to battle this urge to use the magic as well, because anytime she uses the magic, she just falls further and further into the trap of darkness. So it really is a new journey for her to grow as a character, because she has to deal with all of these emotions that she didn't really have to deal with before. The first book, she didn't really have a lot of hope, and she's learning to have hope again in this novel. She's learning to love again in this novel. She's learning to allow herself to have the happiness that she didn't think that she didn't think she was going to get beforehand. And that's what was really enriching about this novel. Her journey of turning into a demon, of fighting this darkness that's inside of her. That is what was compelling about the nature of the storytelling. But more so, we get to see more of other characters. You have Lady Sarnai. She wasn't really present in the first book. We had a few glimpses of her in the beginning and near the end. She just came off as this sort of resentful, petty, spoiled princess. And now we get to know her more, and I thought that was really cool that Lim decided to explore this other character and give her more depth. She does make her more multidimensional, because like I said, in the first novel, you didn't really like her. You really couldn't really relate to her. you felt bad for her. Yeah, she's a princess. She's kind of been forced to marry this guy that she hates over the man that she loves. It's understandable, but she's just so off-putting in the first novel that you really can't connect to her. Whereas in this novel, you really do get to see another side of her. You get to see her challenge people. You get to see her have more honor than the people around her. And I thought that was really cool. And I really did enjoy that aspect of the novel. How we, as readers, we got to see more of other characters around us, or around Mai, Ami, some of the tailors she worked with, Idan, Lady Sarnai. They have more development, they have more depth to their overall characterization, and it really did allow the story to be more multidimensional, to be gripping in a way that was different than the first novel. As for the storytelling itself, I really did think it was a really good story. I loved how the magic was explored a little bit more in this novel than it was in the previous novel. I liked this idea behind creating these magical dresses and how each dress, represents something, mind, body, and soul. For Mai, they really do represent her goodness, and they are her saving grace to keep her from falling into a full-fledged demon. These dresses and the goodness behind them, they are keeping her human for the most part. But every time she destroys a dress, she loses a piece of herself. So I like how Lim explored the magic behind these dresses and how they represent the mind, the body, and the soul, how they connect to the folklore of the land, and how they just give new challenges to the story. I mean, ultimately, these are... Sorry if I seem a little distracted, it's because I'm watching my son. He's crawling, so I need to make sure he's not gonna play with things he shouldn't be playing with or hurt himself. Although right now he's just playing with my Game Boy Advance. Anyway, I think Unravel the Dusk, I think it was a really good sequel. I really liked so much about it. I love this exploration of the magic. I liked how she developed Mai differently in this novel, while also developing other characters, the side characters who we as readers really didn't get to know in the first novel. So they add more to the story, especially Lady Sarnai. She is definitely amazing. I didn't like her in the first novel. Like I said, I could have done without her. I thought she was just a spoiled, bratty little princess. But you get to learn more about her in this novel, so you get to understand her more. You understand where she's coming from. You understand who she is. And the decisions she makes in this novel do make her incredibly likable. And her strength, her sense of honor, her willingness to battle the evil and save the innocents, it really does make her a very good character. And I like how she is kind of like this perfect foil for Mai. They're both very different, but they have such a good understanding of one another as characters and as people. So their dynamic was really good. And I enjoyed that thoroughly. I loved Lady Sarnai in this novel versus the first novel where I couldn't stand her. So that was really good. Lim definitely took the time to develop other characters in order to give the story a better scope and a thoughtful storytelling overall. So this was Unravel the Dusk by Elizabeth Lim. It's the second novel in the Blood of the Star series. I'm going to go ahead and give it 4 stars. because I really did think it was so good. I love the magic, I love the folklore, I love how it's explored more in this novel. I like how it's all given more depth, the magic and the characterization, and I really do think it is worth reading. So I highly recommend purchasing the book off of bookshop.org, because a percentage of all proceeds do go to supporting local booksellers. If money's too tight, which I know for a lot of us it is, you just check out this book from your local library. Libraries are a great resource for the community, definitely just deserve our support. And I hope you will support me by liking my podcast. You can also become a supporter on Anchor. There's a link in the description of this podcast. Anchor is the platform in which I record, and for 99 cents a month you can help me make Sin's Workshop podcast even better. Hope you all have a great rest of your day, and as always, happy reading.